So here's the first scenario. Had a call from a client, and here's what the client requested. She said, we're working on our new hire onboarding program, and we don't want new hires to feel like they have to sit in the dark corner alone and read a bunch of policies. If you've ever experienced that, it's really no fun. She also said that the reality is that there are lots and lots of resources, and they have teammates to help them get started as a new hire. And she wanted to make sure that they felt well and that they felt like they were part of the team. And then she asked, can you make something simple that we can share with our new hire welcome email on their first day? And then she also mentioned that most of the people they hire are in their 20s. So does this sound like the kind of request you receive? And can you start to see an opportunity for micro-learning in this request conversation? So here's how I thought through this request in my design. So I started with the desired organizational results. And the likely desired organizational results that are really hinged on the success and impact of their new hire program really are about decreasing turnover, increasing employee retention, keeping them longer, the employee loyalty, and enhanced employee satisfaction. So if you think about the onboarding in general, that we want to make sure the onboarding program addresses important factors such as assimilation, acclimation, acculturation, social integration. We've got communication, all the way down through building those important relationships and support. So these are some of the fundamental principles in a good new hire onboarding program. And that onboarding program is really targeted and aligned with decreasing turnover. We don't want people to wash out quickly, and we want them in that process of bringing them into the organization and helping to accelerate their productivity. Then we're able to build that loyalty and make sure that we've got good employee satisfaction. So these were the things that I really felt were important, and when talking with the client, she was in complete agreement. Then that gets translated to the desired performance. And the desired performance becomes very specific to the individual job functions of all the participants in the new hire program. But overall, we know that those specific individual job functions, really the onboarding program is about accelerating time to proficiency. How quickly can we get them to become proficient in the tasks that they have to perform as part of their job and their responsibilities? We also know that a good onboarding program can build core competencies such as problem solving, collaboration, self-sufficiency, become a good self-directed learner, finding resources and so forth, and communication and so forth. So just some very valuable core competencies that begin right with that onboarding program. And that, as I mentioned, this onboarding program serves to expedite productivity. We want them to be able to become productive members of their team and of their organization as quickly as possible. So that characterizes how we translate from the results to the performance, and then we shift to really drilling down into that performance-based objective. And I chose to focus in on one enabling objective for their microlearning asset. And it is really how to recognize available support, both in terms of available resources, as we heard the client talk about, and with their teammates, that they are joining a team, they're part of a team during this onboarding process. So again, that single objective is recognize available support. So that's, again, where my design was headed. Then I could choose the form. So with the form, that because I had the function clearly outlined, from the results to the performance to my objectives, then I started to get clear about my instructional strategy. And that from that conversation with the client, I knew that she wanted to use it in conjunction with their email-based welcome letter. And that gave me options of embedding, attaching, or linking out to the microlearning asset. And upon asking a little bit more about what the email was doing and how it was structured, she said that they would prefer a link to launch that asset to avoid any potential email problems, like the attachment being blocked or it not running if it were embedded in the email itself. So she really wanted it to just be a simple click here and link out to it. So I wanted to make sure that the size, the file size of the microlearning asset was small and light, and that it would play upon launch. I wanted it to be creative and appeal to that young target audience. And I wanted it to be simple and colorful and fun and exciting. This is day one of their onboarding. I really wanted to get them excited about joining this organization. And I wanted to tell a story in that microlearning. And that the story was really about, hey, you're not going to be sitting alone for hours in a dark, lonely corner just going through some thick manual or online manual of policy after policy, but rather that they are joining in a team with lots of available support to welcome them and to help them be successful. So this upfront conversation really was pretty quick, where I was doing that analysis and exchanging instructional design ideas and the initial creative treatment. So that only took about 20 or 30 minutes. So then I shared the vision that was in my head, kind of the idea that I had, with a graphic designer, who then created a mock-up. We shared the mock-up with the client, got feedback, and we're able to refine that and then produced the microlearning asset. We cycled through a couple of quick review revision cycles with the client, and then overall it was a pretty fast development process. And the outcome was that the client was very happy, and what it actually led me to choose the form was an animated GIF. So the client also, after we provided the initial animated GIF, they asked, hey, could you make that loop so it continues? So we looped it, and you can see how the story progresses from sitting alone to where all of the available resources, you see physical resources, you see online resources, a welcome kit, you see all of that build for that new hire along with their teammates, and really in this quick microlearning asset that became part of their welcome email, then they were able to, we're starting to tell that story, starting to get them excited about their new position with the company.